Hi, I'm Michelle Ripoll, and I'm here wearing zebra to represent neuroendocrine cancer. So the zebra pattern comes from when med students are in med school, they're learning about how to diagnose patients. They're thinking, if you hear hoof prints, you think horses. Horses are a more common disease or condition with these certain symptoms. It has to be this, but it also could be a zebra, which means that rare patient that comes along with this rare type of disease that needs to be diagnosed properly. My understanding, neuroendocrine cancer is diagnosed. There's about 12,000 patients a year that are diagnosed with neuroendocrine cancer, and it's about 175,000 patients living with this daily in the United States today. What makes it difficult to be diagnosed, and patients usually have this disease for at least 5 years before they're properly diagnosed, is because the symptoms are so vague. For me, I have small bowel neuroendocrine cancer, which means my primary tumor originated in the small intestines, and I had very vague GI symptoms. I had every GI symptom imaginable, but to properly diagnose me, it was very vague. I had indigestion, occasional stomach cramps, just very vague things. And my physician, my GI doctor, did a scope down my throat, and I had a colonoscopy. It wasn't found in neither one of those tests because my tumors were in the center, in the small intestines. That's why it was so difficult to diagnose for me. So for me, I was finally diagnosed when I was 36 years old, and this type of cancer is most common in Caucasian women, more than men, and at an average age range of 55 to 65. So I'm known as a young zebra, is what they call me. And my surgeon said I've probably had this cancer for 7 to 10 years. And that's what's so hard for people to understand. Neuroendocrine cancer is a slow-growing type of cancer. There can be high-grade tumors where it is more faster growing. Those tumors can be found most likely in pancreas and areas like that. The most common areas of neuroendocrine tumors are in the small bowel, the liver, and lungs. So I'm a big advocate of getting a second opinion. When you feel something in your heart's not right, go get another answer. Just go see. It can be a yes, a no. It can be, I don't know what's wrong with you, or it can be, okay, let's check this out a little. Let's dig a little deeper and find out. So I got a second opinion from another GI doctor, and that physician was very thorough in testing me. My first test that came back with suspicion was it was called a capsule endoscopy, which is swallowing a camera pill, which took photos or pictures every so many seconds down my entire GI tract, and it showed suspicion that I may have had liver disease. And my doctor, knowing I'm a nurse, she asked if I ever had hepatitis. I said, no, I've never had that. Well, that test prompted her to order an MRI, which ultimately diagnosed me, an MRI of the abdomen. It was a very small pill, about the size of a large capsule pill, and I walked around the mall for a couple of hours and while it went down my GI tract, and that's what had the clue that something wasn't right. And by the time I was diagnosed, it was stage 4 because it had widespread in my abdomen, ovaries, appendix, it was everywhere, and it had already metastasized to my liver and some lymph nodes. Like it was yesterday. But I was very naive, and I got the phone call from my physician. She said, Michelle, I need to see you. You need to come to the office today at 5 o'clock. Still over my head. I did not expect her to say I had cancer. That was the last thing I ever thought she would say to me. And so I went by myself, not thinking it was anything important. Stupid thinking about it now, but she walked in the room and she said, "Where's your husband?" I said, "What is it, Doc? You can tell me." And she says, "You have a type of mass in your intestines and it spread to your liver." And at that moment, it's the strangest feeling I've ever felt in my life. I didn't know what that meant. I said, "Are you telling me I have cancer? I mean, what does this mean? Am I going to survive? Am I going to be okay? Am I dying?" I had no idea what she was trying to tell me. I was just in complete and utter shock. So I was speechless after that, and she was able to explain some to me, but I'm very, very blessed that neuroendocrine tumor has a special program in the New Orleans area. They were at Ochsner-Kenner, and they have recently moved to East Jefferson Hospital. And people from all over the country go to these group of docs that are specialists in neuroendocrine cancer. And like I said, I couldn't be more blessed that I live so close to these special docs, because the money to maybe travel to another city in another state would not be likely for me. It would be difficult. I felt like it was a part of my family, as crazy as that sounds. When you have a rare condition, to see other people with that and going through what you're going through, it's like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? Like a long lost relative I've never seen before, if that makes any sense. But it was so comforting to know that I'm not alone in this. People survive all the time. It's known as a slow growing cancer. So, these people are living with cancer. They're living their daily life with this and its side effects and what it does on the body. And they're fine. Yeah, so for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to get an injection called a somatostatin analog. It's a medication that I get injected by a chemo nurse. I go to the hospital every month and she gives it to me every 28 days, and it suppresses the tumors from growing and spreading, and it's done wonders for me. I haven't had any new growth since I've been diagnosed 5 years ago. I absolutely got the emotional support I needed. I was very, very happy to meet other women that have just had cancer in general. I've been on a journey through the diagnosis, through treatment. I had a major surgery. Lots of these women's had a major surgery. So there are some similarities, even though we don't have the same exact type of cancer. Just having their support and understanding, because they've gone through it too, has been phenomenal and a blessing. Yes, actually, I had made one little comment to one of my Night Sisters at rehearsal one day, saying that there was going to be a patient conference for neuroendocrine cancer in Las Vegas, and it was coming up. And I said, man, that would really be nice to go to something like that and just learn everything I can about this rare condition that I have. And didn't think twice about it. We were just talking. And that person, I suppose, spread the word to everyone, and people were putting money up for me to make this trip. My mother and I went. We flew to Vegas, and we were there for an extended weekend, learning everything that I could about this condition. And I've actually made friends through that connection as well, patients who have neuroendocrine cancer. I have looked into local support groups, and honestly, I'm not one to open my feelings and talk amongst everyone. That's just not me. But I did do a Google search and try and find some sort of local support in my area, and I was very disappointed. I didn't see many options for that. What I have found is Facebook groups. Once I found a neuroendocrine Facebook group, and there are several, people talking about, oh, what about this, and I have these symptoms, and I'm going for this treatment, and what did everybody else experience? That opened a whole new thing for me. I was like, wow, oh my God, this is so interesting. This is great that I can have this connection and just send messages to people. And I've had random people message me on Facebook and say, hey, I think I might have this. I've had this and that symptom, the same as you, and your story sounds just like what I'm going through right now. And that alone has been very rewarding for me, that I could possibly be helping someone else out and they're getting their diagnosis sooner. For the rest of my life, I'm going to get this injection every month. I've already been through I've had the major surgery, and then I've done a procedure, 3 procedures called chemoembolization. Chemo drug is inserted. It's more localized to the liver to blast the tumors that are still remaining. And then BBs are kind of blasted like a shotgun into a major vessel, and it gives chemo drug to those tumors, and then it blocks the blood flow to the tumors, and that's called chemoembolization. I had 3 of those in the past, which has done wonders. It shrunk some of the tumors that are in my liver, but I'm still being watched every 6 months. I go see my doc, my specialist, who's now at East Jefferson, Dr. Ramcharan, and I get regular blood work every 6 months now. It won't be until I'm 5 years from when they started treating me that I may be able to just go once a year, but as of now I'm still every 6 months until something fabulous comes along and cures this, but it's mostly treated like a chronic disease. My symptoms now, I feel, come from not having a gallbladder anymore. The shots that I get do suppress the pancreas from creating the enzymes that I need for digestion. So most of my issues are from that. And also these tumors do secrete hormones. The hormones that they secrete are mainly serotonin for me, amongst others. But those hormones wreak havoc on my body. When I'm extremely nervous, I'll flush my face and my chest or arms. I'll get beet red. It's just my adrenaline, but the tumors kind of react to it, is the best way I can describe that. And then I do have GI symptoms, but my gosh, nothing like I had before. Before my diagnosis, I would have random bouts of nausea, vomiting. I would dry heave for hours and wake up on my bathroom floor because I blacked out. That happened several times. And right now I mostly deal with bloating, gas, diarrhea, things like that. But I'll take it because I'm much better than I was previously. I would absolutely say if you are personally experiencing any symptoms that I've had in the beginning, like I said, it was lots of GI symptoms. I've had every GI symptom imaginable. I was on 12 different medications for my stomach. My stomach hurt all the time, even after I took a sip of water. It was very frustrating because I thought, oh, maybe I'm just gluten intolerant, or, I made up stuff. Oh, I shouldn't have eaten that the night before. It wasn't anything like that. My biggest thing is, if you know something's not right with your body, get a second opinion. And you never know, it could be the same diagnosis as the first doc, or it could be something totally different. And I feel doing that saved my life. I was full of tumors. I had almost 70 tumors that were removed out of my body. Several inches of intestines. My ovaries were removed. They were completely covered in tumors, which could explain why I never could get pregnant. My husband and I were trying to have a baby when we were 26 after we got married. I had the hormone levels of a 40 or 50-year-old woman at that time. They told me I was going through early menopause. None of it made any sense. So it's been a long road for my diagnosis, and if I can spread the word and shorten that for even one person, it was well worth it for me.